All right. Let's see if we have. Test. We've been having issues with our switches. There we go. All right. We're going to call to order the Pool and Recreation Center Committee for January 25th already at 6 p.m. Can you believe it? And so let me move this. Oh, I'm good for it now. I got it up here. All right, roll call. Matt Sam.
Here.
Chris Evans.
Here.
Sean Miller. Corey Gibson.
Here.
Danny Park. Roger Stewart. Roger, I know you're watching, so thank you. Andy Quant.
Here.
Tina Payne.
Here.
Janet O'Donnell.
Here.
Blake Penson.
Here.
Neil Owens, he's here. He's making copies. Brent Clark, I'm here. Richard Ranzow. Nice to see you. All right, we'll go ahead and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, well, how's everybody doing? Sorry, checking YouTube. So we only have one camera that's working. So just so everybody knows, the one camera in the back is the only one. And then making sure to speak up loud in microphones tonight as we wait for our switch to come, which hopefully is tomorrow. Looking at the agenda here for the 25th, we're on item number 4, looking for the approval of the agenda.
So
Do I
moved.
have motion? Motion by Stam,
Second.
seconded by Evans. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign to oppose. All right. Moving right along to item number 5, new business. Gary, Terry, everybody.
We're going to talk first about the community engagement piece. So if you would, please, first slide, next slide, or whatever you want to call it. There you go. So we're about 25% of design development now, and really a perfect time for us to get community feedback. We've had several meetings with Corey, Blake, Neil, and Brent talking about some of the plan details and working through that. Have moved forward quite a ways with the design, but not so far that we can't make adjustments. So we have put together a community feedback package at this point. I'm going to kind of walk you through it real quick. There's several pieces to it. The survey is actually live, but none of you have the link yet, so you can't go in there and you do now. I mean, if you use your phone from what you got on your handout, yes, it does work. At any rate, so we've got 3 pieces to this. First of all, we've got the digital piece, and that's the first page of it there. You might scroll down. We did a narrative kind of explaining where we've been in the process, a little bit about middle of the page, some bullet points about the plan, just so people understand a little bit about where we're at, and then requesting their input once they've looked at the plans. Original, and we'll talk about the survey in a minute, but that QR code and the link are live already. So starting tomorrow, we can start getting surveys. The second page of that then is actually the floor plan, the renderings, and this would be the group of images and files that will go on the website probably tomorrow. have floor plan. We're actually going to revise this site plan. This site plan was Thursday. Today's plan is not on there, so we're going to, if you give us till about 11 o'clock tomorrow, we'll get the new site plan on these documents. All of these documents reside in a Google Share Drive, so we can quick update them. You still have access to them, so we can make final tweaks right before you put them up on the website. But you can see floor plan, a site plan, and then some renderings. Go ahead and scroll there.
Yeah, because this one's different too.
What's that?
This one's different too.
So we've got a couple shots of the pool, one from the diving in, another one from the shallow zero entry end with a couple of the elements in there to give people a feel for that. There's a basketball goal. There's a little climbing wall off the edge of the pool as well. May not be what the equipment may not be. We're still developing that. So this is just depiction of equipment right now. And then we've got a shot of the entry check-in, a shot of the fitness weights area to give them a feel for that. Of course, at the top of that first page is kind of the meridian, kind of the northwest view of that meridian entrance to the building as well. We've developed, I'd call it a feature wall, which is that off to the right. It kind of is in front of the office area when you look at the plan. A couple of things we've talked about there, but we're going to keep it pretty generic for this feedback and see what kind of feedback we get before we start throwing you the really cool design features that we're talking about on it. Some kind of a stone masonry type wall there. So that's the digital version. Scroll on down because we've included then what we call the print version. Up the fourth page or so there. So the print version is a front and back. So if you print it like a PDF, it'll do a front and back. It also is in a 2-page PDF so that we could use that with the school district emailer. And it has all the same information. The images are smaller, so they all fit on the front and back view. I think you're still scrolling through the digital one there, Brent. That is the print. Yeah, the print.
Yeah, it was the first one. Yeah, that was the front 2 pages.
Oh, that was the first one. Okay.
Yep. So the front 2 pages will be this one with the QR code, and then on the back side will be the smaller images.
Sorry.
That's the first
the
one.
Print version was
first
one. Going backwards. So that would be what we'd send out in the emailer in PDF format, as well as if you wanted to print and have some out the front desk here or wherever, you can print those. And then the other one would be the website. And then go on down to the last page.
This one here.
We also put together a package of social media graphics and comments. And they're all in individual files. We made a summary file. I think it's about right after this. Oh, sorry, let's do the survey next. So when you click on that QR code and the link, this is what you get. And it just talks about that we're looking for your participation and feedback. Appreciate your time. It should only take someone about 2-3 minutes, but we did include in it the images again. Originally, we just had the survey. Brent and his suggestion decided someone might see that QR code without doing any reading, click in, and then they hadn't looked at it. So we went ahead and included the images as you go through the survey. Once you get to a point, I think it's probably about question 5, we start to talk about some questions related to the plan. These are more generic questions. The first couple, you can kind of see what we're asking them. What kind of features they would often use the child center, etc. And then we put the plan and the site plan in, because then the next 4 or 5 questions are specific to our layout. So we asked, is there any types of spaces that you need additional spaces? Are they, and if so, what are they? Are the spaces layout wise in the right arrangement, or something need to be closer to it? Those types of questions. And we've left room for comment on those. And then, of course, asking a few questions about annual membership, gym membership, And then just generically, do you have any other comments that don't relate to any of the questions we asked? That's always a fun one, but
They are fun.
any rate, so 12, I think 12 questions. And I think it'll give us a good idea if we're off base on something. But give everybody a good chance. And then, like I said, we've got the social media post. We've sent some different ideas and captions to go with that. You guys can use too, and we'll probably continue to develop those. Right now, I think we're talking about putting it up tomorrow. We put on there that it'd be available till next Friday, and then we'll come back with you with the summary results and any conclusions that come from that at the next meeting. So any questions about community engagement survey, suggestions?
How do you plan on getting this out to everybody?
Several ways. One is, obviously, we're going to post it on your website, social media post with the QR code, and then we're planning on using the district's email distribution list that hits, it's a 4,000?
About 6.
6,000. So I think we'll get most everybody we need to, yeah.
And then the print version, we'll go to, tomorrow's a great day because it's Thursday, and we serve our seniors during their senior meal. So hopefully it's done by lunch, and we can send that to them. Last time when we did this, the first go around in 2020, which feels like forever ago, which it was, we received, I believe it was five surveys that they actually did handwritten ones that we just inputted the information into SurveyMonkey, so we had it all in one place. But I think we had about 5. The Lions Club meeting, actually, Chris Strunk and I are talking at tomorrow night, and so we plan to bring hand out the 2-page flyer as well. So we'll try to hit it hard in the next probably 48 hours.
Is this something
So
you
the
email out
PDF
through the city too? Okay.
About the water bill.
So the print version, I just took a picture of the print version. It brings the survey up on your phone right now, the QR code. The digital PDF does have the link in it. So if you get an email, you can click on that survey link and it'll take you there too. So
Okay.
it should be pretty easy, user friendly to get that survey filled out.
Yep. So if you come on this, then see how it's hyperlinked.
We've got a new young technology savvy marketing person that got it all set up first time. It all worked. I was like, it usually takes me about 10 tries before I get the stuff.
It'll take you right to here, and then this is where you fill it out. Bing, bang, boom.
So
The question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Tina.
2 questions. Number 1, the child care center, is that only for people that are there attending the facility and they check their children in? It's not a daycare center.
Correct.
Okay, because I read that as a daycare because a lot of the YMCA's have daycares, and so that's the only reason. I don't know if you want to provide any clarification.
And we might get some comments on this survey that we may need to do some clarifications there, but that's the idea, is that you're using it if you're working out there. You're
Okay.
not dropping your kids off there.
Okay. And then my second question is on the social media posts. Will those social media posts be open for comments below? Okay.
Then we monitor those, and then typically put them just in the other comments.
Are
That's
you
what we
still,
did the first go around.
I had just seen comments for a while, still referring back to, we thought this was at the Lions Park. So are you seeing those tapering off now?
I haven't heard,
Okay.
but at least on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, I-
Probably will, once it goes out, I'll probably be more comments about it. But I think people are doing a really good job of, reminding people that it was an option.
Mhm.
Other options are also available.
Yeah.
A better option has become available. So I think people are understanding.
If it's ever something that you want us to be able to respond to, having some standardized verbiage would be good. Otherwise, I would just defer to you guys to respond to them. So,
I don't ever respond to them.
I don't either.
And Gary just mentioned, we don't have a location map, but in the narrative, it says north of the middle school. So I think we covered it. We'll actually read the narrative versus just clicking into the pictures.
Click and go. Not time sitting there and read all those words.
We do make a reference to Meridian on the site plan. So
Question.
think this,
One part would be the school district itself, and that would be if they have students enrolled in the district. That's what, way I know how, unless you have that.
We can talk with, our partner city, Park City, to see if they will post, the same social media as well. Absolutely can ask them to do that.
Yeah, they recently requested the same from us, so it's now a survey on their behalf in December, so.
Post
Just-
your post.
Yep. The only problem with that is, it might reach areas that, aren't in 262. So it's kind of,
yeah. How do you
so
monitor
that's
that?
why we, in the first go around, we asked them, and it was just on an honor system.
Yeah.
Now, did people lie? Sure, it could. I don't know what it would.
I don't know what
gain
you
them.
gain from that.
Plus,
I- you know,
I do enough.
And I think just from experience and maybe doing some graffiti in driveways with the Hornets takeover that our PTO did. I think a lot of the residents on that north side of Park City, a lot of them have students enrolled, and so I think that they'll be able to get that email and be able to participate. Hopefully, so you're not going to reach everybody. I mean, you never will, but I think we'll get a good response from Saddlebrook, Bear Hill. The folks in the Highland.
Well, and a lot of those
areas.
communities have HOAs, don't they? So they have their own social media pages. Maybe they can have somebody from their HOA put it on their social media page to be able to share that with the whole community. I think it would just have to be up to that particular
Yeah.
residential area to make that decision. But
Because I know, like our HOA in Fiddler's Creek, there's just active people that just grab it and put it on our page. I mean, they just do it. I don't. But.
Same thing for Prairie Lakes. We got a link. I've seen it.
Yeah, you guys have a really good one. It's real active. Prairie
Yeah,
Lakes
they
group,
stay
so
pretty active.
we'll leave it at that.
We definitely would hope that we get a pretty large sample.
And I bet you we'll probably have a good 1,700 or more respondents in that time period. I mean, we had a really good response last time when we did only social media. And remember, in 2020 we never met as a board. I mean, everything was done virtually, so I think we'll be okay. But good question. Thanks for coming, by the way. Nice to see you. Yes, Mr. Colbert.
Are you asking about handicapped accommodations or different types of activities? We're designing it to be fully accessible. There's a place for them to make any comment, so if they want to make comments, they definitely can.
And a lot of those things, Mr. Colbert is you're related to programming and I think more activities and things. Is that what you're asking? Yeah, and so the Yep, and Yep, and so there'll be plenty of adequate handicap parking that meets all the ADA regulations, all the ramping will. More specifically in the programming side, that will be up to, of course, the rec commission once they get really down into the nuts and bolts and the weeds of things. If you do look at this facility, this one doesn't have it on there, but with the pickleball courts that would be in the gymnasium and some of those areas that we've heard loud and clear from the seniors, I think is something that will also be beneficial. But yeah, right now we're really looking for just the shell, the bones of the facility. Is this kind of what everybody had in mind when they had voted? So if you look at the gym space here, there are pickleball courts that will run east and west, or kind of southeast,
Close
northeast.
enough.
Yeah, close enough. But But so, some of the programming things I'll leave up to Blake.
Just another thing on this is our very initial survey, we did break it down by age groups, and the biggest thing was a walking track. And so that was one thing that we took like highly, that was a high priority, was to have that walking track for seniors, because that's what they wanted. That was a big need for them, or want for them. So the walking track, and then another thing was a pool that we can have easy access for seniors, and it's warm for a good temperature for them to do like classes and that kind of stuff. So those were two big priorities by the seniors on the first survey that we did, and those are some things that we have implemented in this design right now.
Well,
So-
and specifically to have an indoor facility.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a high priority for many user groups, but
Yeah.
specifically seniors.
That's a good.
And so, this survey isn't getting as in depth and detailed as the first one, because we already have that information and data available in regards to programming and what the community wanted. So, to answer your question, it's okay. Thanks, Ron.
Definitely want you to fill out the survey and give us your feedback. Any other questions on the survey part?
Any questions we want changed, altered, added? I mean, now is the time. We know it's live, but that's why we haven't shared the information until after this committee had the final decision and final opportunity to kind of say, hey, we want to really get to know, an answer on a specific question that we might be missing. Let us know. So, now's your time. And one of the reasons for the quick turnaround when it comes to this one is really we want to keep this train moving forward on the track. And so I know it's a short window until February 3rd, and so make sure as soon as you see all the postings, share it on your own personal pages, let your neighbors know. I mean, let everybody know to take it, so we can get this rolling, so we can get a shovel in the ground sooner than later.
Exciting.
All right.
Actually, I have a question. On question 11, if you currently have a gym membership somewhere else, how likely are you to switch to Valley Center or Rec Center? Should that have an option to where you can say that you don't have something elsewhere? Because if you just leave it very unlikely, which I would do because I don't have one anywhere else, it's going to look like a lot of people are saying, no, I'm not going to join there. I don't know.
Good
Kinda.
thought. I wouldn't have thought that.
Because on 10, I'll say very likely, but on 11, I'll leave it unlikely because I don't have a membership currently anywhere else.
I thought we were going to put a deal that said, I don't have one. And then if you said yes, then you
Yeah.
might
Mm-hmm.
got to put it on there.
Yeah, I think that was in one of the versions.
Mhm.
It seemed like it.
An
Some of the
earlier
various-
version had the yes and no in there.
No, that's good. Good observation.
Maybe this is just verbiage, but is the plan just to do annual memberships, or is that just the word we're using? It's
That's
not.
just the word. Yeah.
Okay, so monthly memberships is probably,
Most of them are. I mean, we'll have lots of different memberships, but that's just what he's saying. If you're gonna.
okay.
Let's just take annual.
Yeah,
out.
and just say membership.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Perfect.
yep. I like it. See, this is why we talk about it. Everybody reads things differently. Some people don't read it at all. So
What if I just had a box under 11 that says, I don't have a membership elsewhere? Click. Lighter. That's all both.
Gary talked about the actual.
Are we done? Well, if we go by your agenda, we'll do the overview of the project status. However, Lions Park has started, and I didn't include a plan of Lions Park, but you guys know what's going on there, I think. So I think I'll let you guys.
Is this one picking us up here, Brent?
Probably not.
Okay.
Those ones are really just for appearance.
So we are started on Lions Park. We've got our initial mobilization completed, and Mongan painting, sandblasting and painting is on site. They're now, as of today, fully mobilized, and you should start seeing big clouds of dust tomorrow with sandblasting activities. They've got the lift in, they've got all of their blasting media. And originally they were just going to have one gentleman doing the blasting. They have two of them there now, so it should actually go a little bit faster. And then next week we have M6 is coming in to do their initial job site safety orientation, our QA/QC, just go through the specifications, make sure that specs. And so we do that a couple of days ahead of time before they actually show up on site. And they'll be here getting all that stuff done on Monday. And then we will have our concrete trade partner in at some point a little bit after that, probably towards the end of the week. Friday, do the same. Should start seeing a little bit of progress over there, and it's excited about it. So that's kind of what's on the agenda here for about the next week and a half. Then as soon as M6 is done with their saw cutting, our concrete trade partner will be right behind them, but back. So we've already pre-scheduled some time with Brian for next Thursday after the sandblasting is at a point where we can do some inspections. If there's any additional cracks, if you guys remember, we did carry an allowance of $5,000 in case there were additional cracks because there's a lot of paint on there, some places more than others. So we're just not sure what we were going to find. So we did carry an allowance for additional crack repair. We're going to trust Brian's judgment on what's fine to leave. Have that set for next Thursday. I don't remember the exact time or if we've nailed it down or afternoon, Thursday afternoon. Yep, there it is. All right. So that's really what we've got going on until our next meeting. So happy to get started and just we are getting started about that and really well.
Gosh, this is so exciting.
Good deal.
Any questions? Yeah.
Any challenges with ordering, receiving materials?
Always. No, we don't have anything that's there wasn't a long lead item. We knew the shades were. I think Gary's got samples now, and so we just need some colors picked on the shades, and we'll get that order finalized. But yeah, everything so far has been tracking on where we thought.
I'm supposed to bring those tonight.
Excellent. Yellow and purple.
No purple.
No, we've got a full swatch of fabrics. So.
And on those, they can all be one color. They can be 5 different colors. They can alternate. This one's yellow, this one's red, this one, whatever you want on those. Done all different ways. So it's really drop this back.
Sounds good. Sure.
Thank you, guys. So does that make Brian a crack inspector? That
That's fantastic.
If you could go to the, well, we've been doing a lot since we last met. We've met with Jake Bassa with SEH on Monday the 16th, and kind of walked through the plan, the site plan. And I think last time we were going to turn it or we had turned it. So from that, we talked about how that might affect parking. We had a drop-off loop around drive. We do need to address handicap parking. I personally like the way that Dillon's has been doing it lately, where they have the handicap parking up next to the building. And so that way you can just walk right on into the facility from there. But we'll definitely have enough handicap parking to satisfy the counts. We also talked about how you might get from here to the stadium. So we need to talk about, we need to add some sidewalks to that. We are in DD phase where the design is constantly changing almost daily, sometimes hourly, based on who we talk to. So this was a snapshot of where we were at that time. And then we need to leave enough area for additions in the future, and also any kind of buildings that might be off to the west, or sorry, to the east. Have you all seen? Oh, I wanted to point out the green pieces on there. That's where the current trees are, and so you can see where we might be able to leave some, especially up to the north there. We're not even into that portion. Now, this is all based on what elevation the building might be at. So the elevation may be high enough that some of those trees we can't keep. Maybe some of those along the drive we can keep if they're nice trees. Obviously, elms, not so great, but that belt along the southern part there, we might be able to keep that. Any comments on the site plan before I move on? Any thoughts?
I noticed that the survey site plan was quite a bit different because it's 4 days old. It gives you an idea of kind of some of the changes that happened. Live as we're doing this.
We really do like the building turn and angle. It gives it interest on the site. It gives a little bit more visibility as you drive down the Meridian. Imagine those trees and stuff that's going on. I'll explain to you.
That square thing in the corner there? Right there, yeah. What is that?
Retention pond?
Oh, a retention pond, okay.
Now, does that have to be there, or can it be moved to the east?
It could be moved.
I would think it would be better if it was moved, but
Well, and so Jake and SCH are meeting with the state and seeing what we can do to make that a wet pond to actually hold water and have more of a fountain type of a feature as kind of looking then through that into the building aesthetically, and we actually really need it for the drainage to hold some back while we do let it flow according to what we need it to towards the middle school. And so we also need the dirt, and so we need the dirt and we need the drainage. So it's kind of strategically placed there. We did have it to the north with the parking lot there, but then we kind of brainstormed and said it might aesthetically look kind of neat to have a water feature right there in front as you're coming up, and a good buffer and separation, and with location on it, how we can grade the property to best utilize all the space to the west of the pipeline, because recall the gas pipeline is this lovely green line up there in the corner that we do have to have setbacks on. So.
is there,
Doesn't conflict with any potential future buildable area. You could become a nice reflecting pond when you turn the fountain off. So.
And just so a lot of you have been around the area for a while. So that was the existing house that was hidden in the trees. That's where that is. And then the farthest lane to the east towards the football stadium, this drive lines up directly with those parking stalls and where that driving lane is on the far east, closest to the stadium. So it would line up perfectly with that. The street, of course, lined up directly across from Southwind. And so Southwind and here are directly across from each other. And then there would be a right turn lane added so people can get out of Brent's Way. So,
Can there be on the southbound side, Brent? Can there southbound? If you're going southbound, can there be a turn lane added there?
probably not at this point because of the way that road is constructed on that far west side with the ditch. It would take quite a bit to make that happen in this phase. Of course, the city does have plans and have already applied for grants, but have been unsuccessful on doing, major roadway improvements on Meridian from 7th Street, which is in between the middle school and the intermediate school, all the way north to 93rd Street. And so as funds become available, we will continue to apply for those. This area gets congested for that 15, 20-minute window during school. It's a nightmare. And then it's dead. And then there's nothing there. Cost estimate for the roadway that we're looking at is, north of $11 million alone. And so really right now we're focusing on things that are affordable for us. And one of those things is a right turn lane because of the way that current site is laid out in elevation of the ditches on the east versus the west.
There would be an entrance from the middle school parking lot?
Yes.
What are the hours going to be for this rec center?
24/7? No, I'm just kidding.
Because my question leads to something. I don't know what the hours are going to be on a Friday night, but I would assume that this parking lot's going to be used for football games. So most people don't care where they park as long as there's an open spot. But we have this rec center that may be open. Is there a way to be able to?
We'll have to
control the
work
traffic?
through that. Maybe that more northern parking lots for rec center use that night, and then Friday night footballs for that south parking lot. So we've kind of discussed that a little bit.
Okay.
Because it would be open probably till 9. So
And another good reason to move it up here. We
certainly
strategically looked at this.
yeah,
Oh, how many parking stalls? I think there was like 270, I think, total or something like that, isn't there? Is there 240?
We're just discussing how many are on there, and I'm not quite sure.
I haven't recounted since we've been up.
Yep. So I just added up the ones, but I don't have the count for the north. So I think it was north of 220. So that would be nice. Yes, absolutely, for Friday Night Lights. Absolutely. Okay. A lot of pavement.
I like the rec center being diagonal. It wasn't that last meeting, but this looks better.
Yeah, and this plan will continue to develop as we get into more details. We did meet with the other engineers on the 17th. That's structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. And from that, we had some great comments. And then we met today with Count Gordon has a gentleman that's willing to help us on the pre-engineered metal building. We met with that gentleman and our structural engineer, and came with some great comments, great ideas on how to really get this built in a cost-effective way, but also a timely way.
Yeah, a lot of our discussion right now is where do we look releasing, how do we columns, where do we go, what do some of these finishing details look like, and trying to clean it up as much as possible. What we would like to do, because this gentleman that we've asked to help will help to a certain point. After that, he he would have to hire them as an engineer. So what we have proposed is having him give us enough information as it relates to a pre-engineered structure to get us to a biddable set of documents. And then we would do an early guaranteed maximum price for that portion of the project and put that out in a competitive bid environment where we would get a furnish and install package together. Once we can lock in a manufacturer for that, then we have full access to their engineers. They'll develop all of these details. And in the pre-engineered world, that's a very common way to do things. Is that design is delegated to the manufacturer. It's not with the engineer of record. So that is something that's pretty standard in the industry. So by doing that early package, that gets that engineer involved before the plans are fully developed, and that really lets take all of those minute details into account. Felt like that was a good way to still to have a competitive environment and also to give the design team the details that they need. The biggest one is the anchor bolt reactions. And what that is based on all the design criteria and how loads affect it is how much force is applied at the bottom of the column to the anchor bolts. An engineer cannot complete the foundation design until they have that, and the pre-engineered folks won't give it up until they have the contract. So you kind of in this push and pull, and so this is really our best path forward to satisfy all of our contractual requirements out, and also bringing on somebody early enough where we can have design input and have a good impact on that final design. I don't know if that was too much information or not enough, but happy to go into that info.
Literally getting into the bolts of it.
Yes, literally into the nuts and bolts of, yes. We
Yeah, so-
have multiple meetings today on this.
So there is kind of a fine line there between metal building engineer and our personal local structural engineer. As Todd mentioned, the foundations would be by our local contractor, local engineer. The other things that they will design are the CMU walls in the restrooms and also that slab that's going on top of that. They will do that locally, as well as all the reactions that might take place on the metal building side of things. Yes, and the pool itself is designed in conjunction with these guys, and as well as the blanket on the mechanical system, the foundations for those two as well, for the pits.
There's just a lot of stuff that has to fit in a small amount of space, and without that initial coordination, it leads to a lot of unknowns and assumptions and that information.
Right. So one of the things that I'm asking our engineers to provide is a narrative. I think that'll help our contractors with designing that. So we're working on a mechanical narrative, an electrical narrative, and a structural narrative, as well as narratives from these guys and civil as well. And from that, we're still tweaking that. I got an initial kind of layout today. I wasn't quite ready to share that with you yet because we're still working through some different things. Mechanically, he's looking at different systems, mechanical systems. There's probably 4 we can look at. And so we're kind of narrowing that down, not only for price, but also do you set the mechanical units on top of this mezzanine and not creating? That's a great thing, but it's not as cheap as rooftop units. I hate to see rooftop units on top of this building, so leaning towards that. But those are some of the things we're working through mechanically. And then how do you separate the pool environment from the rest of the building? That needs to be an envelope around that space. Is that negatively pressurized, or is it just a little bit positive pressure? I found out today it is a little bit positive pressure. I didn't know that. I thought it was negative. It also needs to be a vapor barrier around that environment. So we're working through all those issues with, there's probably hundreds of things we're working through right now, but one of the things electrically that we did come up with was if you could kind of look at admin area there. We talked about how electrical comes into the building. All the utilities are coming from Meridian, so it makes sense to have utilities that go into the building on that side of the building. So we took Blake's office and sorry, Blake. Took Blake's office and turned it into an electrical room. So that's where all the front end equipment will come in, as well as the node room there for all the computer network. So right down south of that, in the what we had as a child care area outside, I think we're going to take up a little portion of that for an outdoor mechanical, electrical type area that'll have a transformer will be there, possibly a generator, and the gas will come in that way too. It's a great location for that, I think. So if anything goes wrong, admin's right there, and they can have that spot. So,
Next to the child center. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
that's Blake's office.
I would have been able to go out and play on the playground. No.
So we're working on the size of that room. May not be that big, maybe bigger. But from there, we'll have different panels throughout the building related to what areas they're serving, especially up on the mechanical mezzanine. We'll have pretty large panels up there serving those rooms. Do need to probably get a geotech involved here pretty quickly. Now that we have the building sited where it is, we can work on that. We'll get the load calcs from our engineers. So we can start digging holes or punching holes to get that bearing capacity. I called Jake Vasa, and he recommended a couple local companies that we can see bids from for our geotech report. So we'll work on that pretty soon. I hear the water table is at like 12 feet.
Mhm.
So that's down into where our pool will be. So that's a little bit of concern there. But, architecturally, walk through this real fast. We did move the diving board a little bit. That's for structural reasons. However, we're going to create a column line between the pool and where the locker rooms are. So we get a column line along there, so that pool diving board, they go back to the other side now. So we're still working through those.
How many seats again, Gary? Sorry.
Right now we show about 200 there. And that's another thing we need to talk about, how many seats you want in the pool area, as well as the gym, actually. We'll get to that in a second. We did enlarge the mezzanine over the locker rooms. We enlarged it over to the family locker room as well. Those walls are going to be CMU anyway, so we might as well move that. Working through whether we actually need that square footage or not. We're working on a fixture count to determine how many plumbing fixtures we need. This is getting into the weeds. We talked about moving laundry, and you can see laundry there at the lower right-hand corner. And we took up a couple of
Not by Blake's office.
It's more centrally located to the locker rooms.
Yeah.
It would be, but what about when you're doing the laundry? Like, think about the way like the Y is set up. The laundry room is like in the back of the offices, so that the people at the front desk can run the machines while there's nobody at the front desk. They can run and flip the laundry, or they can bring it to the front and fold the laundry.
That's a good point. We had it there.
I mean, just a thought. I mean, it's just, if you've only got one person working, they're not going to be able to run. I don't know how far that hallway is.
That door and put it on the track side.
Absolutely.
That way you can flip the laundry.
There's some efficiencies added if you've got all that water usage stuff.
Well, the swim
But
team's
you've
going to
got
do the
restrooms
laundry.
over there. So.
Yeah.
I don't think you want the boys to do the laundry.
Well, and it looks like added this access way for what did I wasn't a swimmer
Crash
for
Crash pad.
cool down. What's that?
It's a crash pad.
Crash pad. There you go. So for the hangout area over yonder.
Yeah, so if you go to the gym there and kind of show where that,
Oh yeah, and if it's got a way through there, that's actually great for people who, if you have big groups that are coming in, you usually have, if it's allowed, people will take their stuff and sit in the gyms. So they'll put down tarps or something or blankets and take their chairs in there.
yes, we'll
Yep,
need
that
to
was
work
a
through.
big reason why.
We'll need to work through how those are accessed. If those doors are maybe locked all the time
Yeah.
normally, and then we'll open them up for swim meets or something.
Because we talked about putting something down maybe out there so they're not tracking water in and out of the gym. So just during swim meets, we can maybe open those up and then close the rest of the time.
That's a minor thing, but as you see that the doors are swinging into the spaces, not from them into there, so you're not you could easily lock that door. It's not an exit by any means. We also took out your seating, which means we could add another pickleball court. The seats obviously can move. I think we want to make those portable, based on what you guys say. And we need to talk about how many seats you actually need in that gym. How many spectators you actually want to have. This is a conversation we need to have. So whether that pickleball court's there or not, or are those fixed bleachers, that back up against the wall, or are they tiered this completely out? Talk through.
No, there's some additional benefits that we were talking about. Just current layout, if you have cross courts running actively, that additional space allows you to have a pickleball court still active if you had both cross courts active playing. Have 2 full courts of basketball going on and a pickleball game going on at the same time. You don't have to choose between the two. So we have 3 pickleball courts shown on the court, but we don't want to lose one or the other if one's happening. So there's flexibility there. That's what's
The portable bleachers will be nice too, because I think when we run leagues, they'll be running 2 cross courts, so we can put those on the ends, so they parents can be on both sides. There could be, yeah. But I think we could put them there, but when we start playing, we'd probably put them on the north and south side because we'll run east and west. Yeah, depending on what we're doing. Yeah,
But there is enough room
to store them there
between here. I mean, just to have them
because they
there,
pop up.
and then you
Yeah.
can pull them and
Yeah.
move them wherever you need to.
We also have a storage room up there on the upper sheet there. I don't know if that is enough for what you want to put in there. So we need to have some conversations about what might go in there. Is it deep enough? Can we make it deeper and skinnier? Doors. We don't have to do that.
Yeah, that's my first observation is you might need double doors or a roll-up door or something right there.
added a door there.
Yeah.
Only change about that.
Sure.
So it's back.
Yeah, this plan's about 2 hours.
Yeah, I say this is the first time I've seen this one.
You said go. Big
Yeah.
change.
Yep.
Back.
Go. Yep. Shovel in the ground 2 weeks.
Yeah, so what we're going to be working on the next couple of weeks are need to have some conversations about bleacher numbers, maybe the type of equipment that's in fitness, and the layout. We'll talk about that too. That'll help electrical figure out where how many different boxes. The equipment in the childcare area. What do you want in there? Do you want a changing station? Do you want maybe a corral for the really young kids? Corral's not the right word. Is there a climbing structure in there? Something is that built in? Is it something we need to nail down, or is it something more portable? And then we promised you a sun study, which we're going to be working on. And then I'm also going to work on the
sun study where the sun will be in relation to how it's going to
Oh,
project
okay.
into all the windows.
Thinking
for-
childcare, thinking, what are you talking about? A sun study with a childcare room? Okay.
Studies everybody's sons.
Okay.
Because with that much glass in the pool area, depending upon if we need to have certain shades in certain areas. That,
Right there on
'cause
that west
you
side.
guys love natural sun beaming in. I heard.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, especially when it gets right in your eyes. That's awesome.
Then Brian's been looking at the 0 depth entry, and it's going to be more than just a little 10-foot area by 20.
Yeah, I know that Jessica's been working on maybe a structure that sits half on the deck, half in the water, and maybe go into that 2-foot area versus over on the zero entry area. And the primary reason for that is it promised you kind of views into the pool. And if you have that big structure sitting right there at the zero entry area, that kind of, you're looking around at all times. So maybe it goes in that northwest corner. Yeah, we do have some stuff in the renderings.
Which one do you want?
You want one of the interior pools. Yeah.
This one? Mhm.
Start to see that slide and structure. Great features. But this, again, as we work more with Water's Edge and they start to develop it, there's actually become, these are just starting ideas that we mentioned in our previous meetings. So we start to walk those out and say, hey, what does it look like in the slide? Could we move potentially just water features? What do these things look like? It doesn't have to be anything, but what are some options that we could have? And how do we represent that to the public when they see these things? Okay. Some of that first.
We're also seeing some other images on the lap lane, lap pool. There's some basketball goals, maybe a climbing wall, volleyball net is another option.
And then so like the features and stuff in the zero entry area when when seniors and we're kind of really focusing on maybe having that programming opportunity, and those features can be shut off and turned down, so then seniors can then easily walk in and then walk around the edge there to get into the larger pool. So just so you comment on that for you there, Mr. Cooper.
You'll notice the hands run through there. Access to both the kids.
That's all I had, unless you guys had some comments.
You gonna have anything solar? Any solar at all? If Roger was here, he probably would ask that question. So that's why I'm speaking.
Right now,
We haven't really mentioned anything here in the last couple of meetings. So.
Someday.
Talking photovoltaic or talking passive solar?
Just something to be able to say that this is a little bit more involving solar, I guess. I don't know, some panels up top on the. It obviously is going to include cost, but
Got a lot of glass. There's some stage right. Cold would be positive for warm season shades. Talk about that with the west side of the building.
I like the windows. A lot of windows.
A lot of your lead buildings be more passive solar.
I go to the image of the front entry there. Be able to see quite a ways into this building. Lots of visibility, lots of see and be seen type action. I think it's at the top of that page. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, I'm on a different computer than these two. Too close.
Yeah,
Got you.
I think this could be a really nice
Benches out
space.
front, that's cool.
Some outdoor seating, some
Yeah.
drop off area. Pick up your kid there. Lots of activity. Seeing inside and outside. You kind of see we're developing that wall of glass there. It will be up off the ground because a lot of you don't want the window system sitting down on the water. Get to that, maybe corrode that, so we want to have that concrete base up a little bit.
That was one of my questions. If you're looking at that seating arrangement there in the front, And then you mentioned the handy or ADA parking in the front there. How it would be further, okay,
Yeah, further down.
further down. Okay, I was wondering where those kind of two met up.
Hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have enough developed to show that to you.
I did not bring that. We are hoping to be done with the DD by the end of February. And we'll get another approval from you guys to move on to CDs. CDs or construction documents will take about, I'm thinking about 2 months on that. So everybody really down to on the building that's going to be built. So, but you will have an opportunity to approve the DD drawings, the design development drawings. And that'll be more of a page turn, I think. You'll probably have a lot more pages to look at in front of you, a lot more detail, a lot more.
So once we get approval on that DD set is when we're asked to get approval to bid out the pre-engineered package, that's the furnish install. We'll review them. We'll spend some time reviewing them in depth, making sure they've got everything they've asked, we've asked them to cover. And then
So it looks like DD would get DD drawings around February. Price update, so I'd spend about 2 weeks. March 15th is when I'll spend about 2 weeks. That's when we'll do the early package on the pre-engineered metal. Looks like pre-engineered portion. March 16th. Or review 30th, and then hopefully fire released on the 31st. Have 100% construction drawings on about a 3-week bid process where we reached out to all the trades. RG, household around the block.
I owe you that schedule. So. Yep. We've been kind of coordinating back and forth on length of time and things. So.
12-ish.
13 months of what? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Construction.
When's dirt work start? I mean, I know
Look, work with them, and we might be able to do that, gain a little bit of time.
just
I already know that the electrical switchgear will drive this project. And so there's a number of different things we can do. We would push to start earlier just because it's summer, early fall. Disregard our electrical switchgear. It's up and it shows up. Right now, we're starting in early August. Or very early August. And that's based on, getting approval process in early July, then doing a buyout process with our trade partners, getting mobile. Know that electrical switchgear is going to show up. Right now, electrical switchgear is here. Probably a 2,000 amp service, which is
So the other option is to find out exactly what that delivery date is supposed to be, then work back and then back into a start date, which we're starting. That's why we would say, let's go ahead, get mobilized, get the dirt work done, get the foundations in, the slab poured before. If it shows up early, then it's just a bonus, and if it shows up closer, then we put it. Now, the back box, the big metal can that all the big breakers and everything sits in, those are coming in a little bit sooner, but it's all the breakers and the guts inside there that are so far out. So we can still do a lot of our finishes around there, but it's just,
You can't order it today.
The other
So
piece
if-
of that too, generator, if we are using a generator.
Wow.
fortunately, it's a lot. Higher end, so. Something everybody's dealing with. We're not alone here, so got a couple of different options that we can do. But just let you know that those are, we know those are lead items. We are working with Gary to get. Yeah, we have done a couple of early packages for switchgear and I don't know that we're going to have that start to make a difference, but it is something that we'll.
So if you ordered a 1600 amp transformer today, and we figured out a month from now it was 1800 amps, did you change that after you ordered? No? Okay.
No, we
Always
just
go bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
we
gonna
need
say,
it,
just
we need
go
it sized
bigger, yeah.
appropriately. There's price tags associated with 1200 amp to 2000.
Pool will need it eventually. So by the time.
There we go.
I don't think so. I'll before you just that.
So it's kind of finding that balance of, okay, as soon as we know what this is going to need, then let's get it locked in. But that we may be at the point then because we still have to figure out what mechanical system are we doing. That's where we have to figure out light fixture. What are we actually going to need power supply wise on pumps, on all of that stuff. I would not be comfortable ordering it right now if it were my money.
But you said it's a year out, so that would mean if you finalize the design in 2 weeks, then it would be January of 2024, but it would be received.
Let's say we finalized it today. We'd have to go through our competitive bid process out to the we'd have to prepare that price for council to get their because right now we just have a cost contract with the city. Have to get approval and authority to spend whatever that dollar amount is. Contract, we didn't know if we bought it from a supply house or if I knew right now, it would still be contractually, that's what.
But then it would be a year from the order date, is what you're saying. Interesting.
Design means not design development. Means probably best scenario is 50% of the way through CDs. We might finally have enough information to size that.
That's good to know.
What kind of dollars are you looking at? For 1,600 to 2,000? A couple 100,000? Or, I mean,
I don't
just
know.
roughly.
I can look into that.
But that's kind of, could potentially hold us up a little bit.
You're saying oversize it.
It makes more sense. I think at some point in time it'd get used
Right now, we're expecting,
with additions and things like that. So
right now, we're, you know, are we gonna do the gym or not? That's one thing. We size it for the gym. Are we gonna size it for any addition to the south, out of the fitness area? That'll be pretty minimal, because it'll all be LED lights, just plug-ins, mechanical system. We're not including any outdoor aquatic facility that would have its own system. So we're not gonna add that onto this building. So there's a line there.
Okay.
We are looking forward to any kind of easy additions that you might have.
We'll do some research on that and grant all that, you know.
It's been fun to watch the progress of clearing the spot. We drive out there every Sunday afternoon and take a look. So
I drive by it every day,
I bet you do.
probably about 7 times a day. Actually. That's why I asked when dirt work is going to start, because that's a huge change. And people are going to start asking questions that haven't paid attention so
Exactly
far.
right.
And that's what I was getting at with all that. So
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right.
All those trees there, we've seen.
They'll just see the clouds of dust.
All right. Anything else on either one of you? All right. Moving right along to general discussion.
A quick update on the pickleball courts. City Council did approve the rec commission to use the Lions Park basketball court. So those will be going here in April or May. So that's exciting, and that'll be a nice little addition to that park, I think. So
They'll be up and running April, May.
When does that start? Renovations on all that?
When it's warm enough, they have to have like a certain amount of days they can.
Was that like
The materials.
they're going
sent-
to turn into pickleball
Yeah,
courts?
they're gonna
or
resurface
going to
it.
be Used by both. So the nerd.
No basketball. That's Abilene, or we have Abilene right there, and then McLaughlin too. So, yeah, they all go to Abilene anyways because they can dunk there. So,
That's what my son used to do.
yeah,
Start making
Break those
reservations.
yeah.
Replace them every
I still go out there.
Not
Of
because
course,
Versus senior citizens.
you know, as we continue working through Lions Park renovations, the parking lot will be addressed, and so expanding both the entrances or the entrance and exit, as well as moving curb lines, adding some sidewalks, and then doing some murals and brick mob painting on buildings. Something that's outside of kind of their scope, but something that we've been working on, trying to save funds wherever we can to then make a major impact still on the renovation there. So be amazing how much, $20,000 of murals, goes for all the buildings. That's what the total that we got for the most detailed high level, because they've done so many for us that they gave us a really good price. Unbelievable price.
Is there a certain color scheme we're focusing on for the pool versus the rec center? You mentioned something about, or somebody did, about the colors, bringing the colors.
And that there's no
And is
purple.
are we going BC colors? Are we doing just blues? Or are we going grays? What?
I think we got yellow out there right now, so we want to kind of match up with what we have now at the pool.
Okay.
So I don't know if they'll all be yellow, but that's what
Right.
there is.
That's right. And as far
Yeah,
as
that is right.
the,
There's that yellow and purple slide.
and there's green,
The green, yeah.
Yep. Purple, green, yellow, and then the poles are white. So yeah, we were kind of looking at staying with white poles for the shade structures, and then seeing what Gary brings for color selections on the canopies to see what that would look like, to either stay with yellow, or would it make sense to really spice it up and add some other shade color options there? And is what we have, what, 5? Is that right? Or 4? 4? Okay. 4 or 5? I don't know. I thought it was 5. Okay, 4.
Yeah, there's 5.
5.
Okay.
Because
Maybe cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Total.
With existing ones, yes.
Personally, I think it makes sense to look at, really spicing it up, add some other colors in there, and, make it eye appealing from the distance when you're driving, around the park or in the vicinity of the community center, and just more color grabs your eye.
Yes. And we have no idea. We haven't seen anything from Brick Pop yet. So they just got prices back to us, and so as soon as we get those, I'll send it out to the group, and kind of told them to let it go and see what happens.
They've always done a good job. I mean, our stuff.
Are they the ones that did the rec center?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they
Rec
did.
center, this water tower.
Water tower design.
Very cool.
They did some at venue.
Yep.
Okay.
Grab my playing the piano and stuff.
Really cool.
And then also too, doing some of the small items kind of outside of their scope with, new toilets, the bathrooms, partitions, those real sexy items.
Exactly.
But those make major impacts. When we were touring those facilities and saw $3 million and then
Details.
old toilets, it's like that's really cool.
Mhm.
$200 for a toilet. I mean, hopefully we can afford that. Neil and his crew are going to do as much as they can in house to save funds. On the parking lot itself, we are going to use our streets budget for the parking lot renovations to save as much as we can for the new facilities. But yes, we will still be doing street repairs and Meadow and Second Street, and there's still a list that will be coming up on the next council agenda. So there will still be street repairs, just not as many as we typically do. All right. Anything else in the general discussion that free for all? Nothing. All right. Well, looks like we're on item number 6 at 7:17. If anybody wants to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
There you go. Thank you. Motion by Evans, second by Mr. Corey Gibson. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. Well, we will see you when